Nippon Hoso Podcast Station.
Today we're diving into 葬送のフリーレン or Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Today's phrase is 人間の寿命は短いってわかっていたのになんでもっと知ろうとしなかったんだろう So in English, I knew human lives were short, but why didn't I try to get to know him better? Where Frieren was like, they do speak in our language, but you cannot communicate with them. And I'm like, I know several people that are like that in this world right now. Like, desu, masu, nani nani, sama. Like, that doesn't really exist in English. So I feel like that was a pretty Japanese part in the elf world or demon world or this series in general.
Anime English Club with Sally Amaki.
Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the Anime English Club. I'm your host, Sally Amaki. 今週もよろしくお願いします。そして、I'm back, everybody. I say I'm back because I have been on hiatus for a month and a half, I think, for my throat surgery. I got my tonsils removed. But the Anime English Club has been updating episodes weekly, so it doesn't seem like I was gone for that long. But yeah, Happy New Year, actually. All the episodes you've seen so far was filmed in 2025. So I am back. What did I do during my hiatus? Oh my gosh, it was magical. The best month I ever had in the past 9 months that I've been doing this job. Yeah, I didn't see anybody. Well, okay, that's a lie. I saw people on the very last week of my hiatus. It's just I had to see them. I say that because before I went into my break, everybody was like, hey, let's go to dinner or lunch while you don't have work. And I was like, yeah. So I made a lot of plans with many, many people. But while I was on break, I didn't want to see anybody. Like suddenly, my antisocial Sally came out. So I was like, oh no, I don't want to see anybody. But I also don't want to seem like a liar who's like, oh yeah, let's hang out, you know. I didn't want to make like an open promise. So the very last week, it was a busy schedule. I literally went to lunch and dinner with different people every single day, and I got sick. So yeah. And the surgery itself wasn't that painful. I was asleep throughout the whole entire thing. The most painful part about this surgery was not the surgery. It was literally the day that I had to come back to work. That was the most painful day of the whole entire month. I can live without work. I've realized in Japan, there's this phrase called スポットライト症候群, which roughly translates to spotlight syndrome. And it's when people who are in the entertainment industry, like they can't forget the spotlight. So even if they quit, they always come back, or like they can't forget the fame that they had. And I was always worried that, you know, maybe if I quit one day, I'll have spotlight syndrome, you know, like I won't be able to forget the stage. No, I can. I can forget it. And I did. I did forget it. I can forget it. This no job life was for me. Like I found my future dream. So thank you. But I am back though, sadly. So let's get into today's episode. Today we're diving into 葬送のフリーレン or Frieren Beyond Journey's End. So Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a manga series written by Kanehito Yamada and illustrated by Tsukasa Abe. It began serialization in Weekly Shonen Sunday in 2020, and the TV anime adaptation started airing in 2023. It won numerous manga awards, including the Manga Taisho in 2021 and the New Creator Prize at the 25th Tezuka Osamu Cultural Prize. The second season of the TV anime is currently airing in Japan, and it's incredibly popular. So the story goes like, the hero Himmel and his party have returned to the royal capital after defeating the Demon King. As they reflect on their 10-year adventure and think about their future, Frieren, an elf, feels no particular sentiment and sets off on another journey to seek out magic. However, the death of Himmel 50 years later makes her realize, I hardly knew anything about him, and she embarks on a new journey to get to know people. So, this was the first time I actually watched Frieren. I know, I've been living under a rock. I've been living under a rock っていうのはちょっと英語であるフレーズなんですけど、その世間的には人気だったのに、とか知られてるのに自分は知らない時に、ごめんちょっと岩の下で生きてたみたいな。だから知らないんだみたいな感じに、Sorry, I've been living under a rock とか、Were you living under a rock とか、あなた岩の下で生きてたのとかの時に使ってください。これ作品とあんま、ね、関係性ないんですけど、I've been living under a rock, so I haven't been watching Frieren. But yeah, I relate to Frieren very much because, you know, a lot of her party members have died already because they're human and they have like a human life expectancy. But an elf, like she can live like 1,000+ years. Me being in an idol group for 9 years, I am the last standing member of the first generation members. So I've seen so many of my members, you know, disappear before my eyes. I don't want to say die because nobody has died. They are all very much healthy and alive. But yeah, I've said my farewell to a lot of my members. So in that case, you know, meeting new people every day and going on a journey, I kind of do relate to her. But also, excuse me, was anybody going to tell me that Himmel was going to die on the very first episode? That was traumatic, okay? I don't know how I didn't know that for the first 3 years that it's been airing. Honestly, I am chronically online and I didn't know Himmel was dead. I thought it was going to be about the story, about, you know, these 4 pals going on an adventure, you know, to fight the Demon King. But in the very first episode, it was like, so, you know what? Like, our journey has been 10 years. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I thought it's only going to start right now. And then suddenly, bam, Himmel's like this small and he's bald with like a long beard and suddenly he's dead on the very first episode. Did they have to take away all his hair like that? Was that really necessary? Like, there was so much in the very first episode. Yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster, but yeah, so I didn't know anything about Frieren. But anyway, we're going to dive into today's phrase now. So today's phrase is 人間の寿命は短いってわかっていたのに、なんでもっと知ろうとしなかったんだろう. So in English, I knew human lives were short, but why didn't I try to get to know him better? はい。So this line is from episode 1, the end of the adventure, spoken by Frieren at Himmel's funeral. 50 years after defeating the Demon King, Frieren, an elf, goes to reunite with her former human companions. However, Himmel is now an old man and passes away soon after. At his funeral, Frieren regrets that she never made an effort to know him better before he was gone. This prompts her to embark on a new journey to understand humanity. はい。I mean, it's kind of on her, honestly. Because, you know, she's met humans before. Her teacher, her shisho, Framme, was also a human. And I mean, she died. So I feel like Frieren should have known, you know, that going on a journey alone for 50 years after their party beat the Demon King, like she should have known that people were going to die. But can you imagine, though, you go on an adventure with, like, your besties for 10 years and suddenly she's like, bye, for 50 years, never, you know, coming back to greet you or anything? I would be devastated. I'd be like, oh, I thought we had something, but I guess not. But yeah, Himmel, I'm very, very still sad about his death. Every single time I think that I'm over his death, like his past comes back, you know, and shows you how great of a human being he was. And then they make you love him even more. And you're like, right, but he's dead. So I don't know. This series is not for everybody. It's only for people that have a strong heart that can go on, watching this series, living with this, なんだろう、事実, living with this truth that Himmel is already dead. But I don't know, stay strong, guys. It has a season 2 right now. But anyway, let's break down some vocab. So the vocab, why didn't I so-and-so? So this is a question, but in this context, it expresses strong self-criticism and regret. So why didn't I? なぜ私は何々しなかったのかという疑問文ですが、この場合は強い自己批判や後悔を表しています。So, let's say before a test, you're like, why didn't I study more? Or if you have a presentation at work and you weren't prepared enough, you'll be like, why didn't I prepare for this project or for this speech more? It's more it's like an inner monologue. You're really asking yourself, like you're kind of beating yourself up for it, like, why didn't I do this? So that's the phrase, why didn't I? And then next is get to know. So get to know, this describes the process of gradually learning more about someone, starting from a state of not knowing them. So in relationship, it's used to mean becoming friends or understanding someone. 誰かを知らない状態から徐々に深く知っていく過程を表す、人間関係において仲良くなるとか、相手を理解すると言いたいときは、get to know が使われますね。get to know だから get to 本当に段階って感じです。徐々に get to know. So for instance, if you want to know somebody, or if you want to understand them, you'd be like, hey, I want to get to know you とか、あなたのことをもっと知りたいんです。I want to get to know you とか、なんだろう、I want to get to know more about this subject とか、このことをもっと知りたいんですよね。だから、I want to know about this subject はこの教科を知りたいんですとかなんですけど、もっと知っていきたいんですよねって言いたいときは get to know ですね。ちょっとだけニュアンスが違うんです。It has like a little bit of a different nuance to it. And the last part, try to do. So try to do, the inclusion of try to in this phrase, in why didn't I try to get to know him, adds a layer of meaning. It's not just why didn't I know him, but rather why didn't I even make the effort to get to know him. So why didn't I get to know him? なぜ知らなかったのかではなく try to〇〇しようとするが入っていることで、しようとする努力すらしなかったという意味合いになりますね。So, なんだろう。why couldn't I know him better? とかだったら、なんで知れなかったんだろうってなるんですけど、それは別に自分発信ではなく、知れなかったことにきっと意味があった時に使うんですけど、why couldn't I get to know him なんですけど、why didn't I try to get to know him? try to は、本当しようとするが入るので、自分がしようとしなかった。だからなんだろうな、why didn't I try to 違う文で使おうとすると、例えば why didn't I try to stop him とか、何か友達とかが悪いことをした後に、後悔した時に、あの時なんで止められなかったの、止めようとしなかったんだろうとか、why didn't I try to stop him? Why didn't I try to stop myself? 本当なんで何々しようとしなかったんだろうっていう時に使ってください。はい。Are we good with the vocab? Next is the pronunciation. Let's practice pronouncing this week's phrase. So, 日本語で、人間の寿命は短いって分かっていたのに、なんでもっと知ろうとしなかったんだろう。So in English, I knew human lives were short, but why didn't I try to get to know him better? One more time. I knew human lives were short, but why didn't I try to get to know him better? Right. So the phrase, I'm going to look at, どこだろう。get to know. Why didn't I get to know? So because get and to, there are two T's next to each other, I would say just put it together. Instead of saying get to know, say get to. Make it into one word, get to know. Why didn't I get to know? Get to. しかも get to よりか get to,スペルにするとしたら、if you were to spell it out, I'd say G-E-T-U-H, like get to. So instead of pouting your lips, like get to, open your mouth horizontally. Oh gosh, which way is horizontal and vertical? Oh no, I always mess this up. Horizontal and vertical. So vertical is up, down, right? Oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. So open your mouth vertically when you say get to, instead of get to. Yeah, don't point your lips too much. Say get to know. Okay. And next is know him. Why didn't I get to know him? Know him. More. I feel like it kind of flows as one. Instead of saying know him, say know him. So kind of, forget the W. Don't pronounce the W, but move your lips like you're about to say the W. So, 伝わりますかねそれ。なんか、know him。なんか唇は W を言いそうになるけど、音には出さない。なんか、know him っていう感じですね、know him。まあでも、最初ちょっと難しかったら、know him でもいいと思います。で、徐々に、口が動かせるようになったら、W だけ口で作るけど音にはしないっていうね、高度なテクニックがあるんですよ、英語には。なので、know him ですね。Why didn't? それで言うともう一個難しそうなのが Why didn't I? When people try to pronounce didn't or didn't I, when they put didn't and some word together, they tend to emphasize the T too much. So I would advise you to drop the T actually and just say didn't I. Put a little つ、ちっちゃいつを didn't と I の間で入れたらネイティブに聞こえますね。なんか didn't I じゃなくて didn't I。ちょっと一回ツンってビートが入る感じですね。で、やったらいけると思います。So didn't I get to know and know him? はい。I think everything other than that is pretty self-explanatory. はい。pretty self-explanatory っていうフレーズもよく使うんですけど、なんか、この先はまあ別に、言わずもがなですよねって感じの、I think it's pretty self-explanatory って言ってください。自分でも見ればわかるよねとか、自分で説明つくよねって時に、まあここからは it's pretty self-explanatory って使います。これはもう全然、まあって感じですみたいな。はい。よく使うので使ってみてください。はい。
アニメイングリッシュクラブ with サリー・アマキ。
Next, we are looking at the cultural context. I would love to look at the cultural context. However, Frieren, it's about elves, demons, and humans. I do not know their culture, so I cannot speak on behalf of them. But I guess because it is a Japanese manga, it does kind of have a Japanese feeling to it. You know, like words of wisdom, like these, I don't know, looking back at the past, and then remembering, I mean, Himmel wasn't an ancestor, but like, you know, remembering what your ancestors told you, remembering, what people told you from the past. I feel like holding on to, memories from the past is a very Japanese thing. But then again, I feel like American movies also do hold on to the past as well. So I don't know about cultural context. So let's just get into elves and monsters and humans. My my favorite group of people, not even people, my favorite group in this show or anime, Frieren, was actually the demons, the mazoku. Because I remember, I think it was like episode 6 or 7, where Frieren was like, they do speak in our language, but you cannot communicate with them. And I'm like, I know several people that are like that in this world right now. They're not demons. I don't know, they could be, but Frieren was like, they do use our language, but they only use it to deceive humans. Like, their language is so that they can deceive humans. And I'm like, okay. We have like 5 of those in my agency that I can name from the top of my head. はい。これまた that I can name from my top of my head も、すぐに言えますとかっていうのを top of my head って言います。なんか、なんだろう。ちょっと考えずにパッと出せるの5人ぐらいいますっていう時に I can name 5 from the top of my head とかはよく使うフレーズですね。はい。なので、yeah, I like the way they live, the demons. Like, they get straight to business. They're like, they know what they want. It was kind of traumatizing though when the little baby demon was like, mommy. And they were like, if I say mom right before I'm about to be killed, humans have a heart, so they won't kill me. Like, that was kind of traumatizing. But yeah, I do like the demons in this show. Also, the part that I felt that was pretty Japanese in this series was also from episode 7 or 8, when the demons episodes where Frieren, or no, who was talking in an informal way? One of the characters was talking in a very informal way to somebody from like an upper status, and they were like, you can get killed for that. But I feel like the tameguchi, or talking without honorifics, is pretty, like, is specific to Asian cultures, like desu, masu, nani nani, sama. Like, that doesn't really exist in English. So I feel like that was a pretty Japanese part in the elf world or demon world or this series in general. So yeah. はい。これが cultural context ですね。Alright, so that is it for this episode of the Anime English Club. But before we end this episode, I was just told by one of the staff members that the phrase that I taught you guys today, self-explanatory, it's pretty hard to pronounce. Self-explanatory. 一回言ってみてください。
後半で
でも出ても来ないんですね。
explain と分けると分かりやすいのかな。
explain。でも explainer。self。でも self はいきますもんね。myself とかの self なんですけど、explain。x、一個一個崩していくと x。plan。何かをプランするみたいな plan ですね。explanatory。スペル的には I ではないんですけど、発音的には I ですね。explanatory. It's pretty self-explanatory. いけそうですか？ self-explanatory. explanatory. はい。And because the word X came out right here, I just want to say, in English, X is used for phrases, like, なんだろう、元恋人のことをシンプルに X っていうことあります。元彼、元カノのことを ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend って言うんですけど、シンプルにもう省略して X っていうのが結構主流なので、ぜひ使ってください。急に出てきたけど。はい。です。使ってみてください。ということで。Anyway, that is it for this episode of the Anime English Club. Next episode, I can't speak today. Next episode, we'll continue exploring 葬送のフリーレン or Frieren Beyond Journey's End. So stay tuned and also watch season 2 because it is airing in Japan right now. next. So you can listen to Anime English Club as a podcast and on YouTube, where you can follow along with transcripts and subtitles. You can adjust the speed however you want and listen as many times as you need to get comfortable with English. Listening over and over is really the key to mastering any language. I advise you to do this because I am a very fast speaker. I do tell myself to be careful. But yeah, I am a very fast speaker, so I would advise you guys to adjust the speed. Not everybody speaks this fast, but also it's pretty common, but it's not everybody. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, oh no, I can't understand anything she's saying, I am a fast speaker because I get nervous. So don't worry. Anyway, for Japanese and English subtitles, go to youtube.com/anime-english-club or just search by the title. And the Anime English Club wants to hear from you. So please let us know any anime you'd like us to cover. For specific lines, please tell us whose line it is and which episode of the anime it's from. Or any general English questions, we are waiting to hear from you. So please email us at aec@1242.com. That is aec@1242.com. You can email me in either Japanese or English. メールは日本語でも英語でも大丈夫です。ということで、来週も早々のフリーレン特集させていただきますので、皆さんぜひ戻ってきてください。Thank you so much for watching. Bye! From the Nippon Hoso podcast station, this is the Anime English Club, hosted by me, Sally Amaki. This episode was written by Naoki Nakamura, edited by Naoki Yamazaki, directed by Hiroshi Kochi, all from Waltz Inc. Our executive producer is Shiori Tanaka for Nippon Broadcasting System Japan.